Welcome into another edition of Bronco Chat. We're talking men's soccer today. David Gentili with the head coach of the Broncos, Cam Rast. And coach, your spring 2021 season is underway. It's been a long, long road to get here, and you've got a match in the book. So now you're actually in season. First off, just how good is it to be back and be competing again?
David, I can't tell you how excited we are just to be playing games again. We've been fortunate enough to have some stretches where we got to train, got to be together. That was super healthy for us. I think we were able to train on some things that we needed to work on anyway, but it's never quite the same as when you get to play games and you get to measure yourself. So we are thrilled to be back and grateful to our administration and our campus for getting us back on the field.
Well, the offseason happens in so many different parts, and all of those were cut short, affected in some way because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So going into season, was there an area where you looked at the team and you said, all things considered, even though we had a reduced offseason, I still feel pretty good about this because of how we prepared for the year?
Yeah, we were fortunate to have a chance to come back to campus in the fall, and the university was able to make that happen. And while it was limited in many capacities, our ability to be together, to train and to work on some things, I think kind of set us up for what we hope will be a productive spring season. You always hope to go out and win all their games. You're always hoping to kind of break out into the team that you're capable of being. I think we were able to do a little bit of that in preparation come fall. And now that we're in the spring, we're going to put our best foot forward, and excited to have some of the guys back that have been here for a while. I'm excited to have the new guys in to see what they're going to offer. So, I think we're just excited to be back on the field and measuring ourselves.
Well, your first match of the season was last weekend at St. Mary's. Lost in that match 2-0, but the first time you've seen your team play in more than a calendar year. So what did you take away from that first contest of the season?
Yeah, the first game of the season was St. Mary's. St. Mary's has been really a good team over the last, 5-6 years. Their coach does a great job with them. And we knew it was going to be a good test. They'd already played a game, so they'd already kind of gotten some battle testing out and sorted through some things. So it was our first game. We were super happy with our first half. We came out and I think really got on our front foot. Seemed to kind of dictate a number of key moments in that first half. Had 6 corners, the only 2 shots, some really good looks at the goal. It didn't seem to concede much, so really pleased with that. And got some guys on the field that have never been on the field for us in terms of the freshmen and some of the new players. That was just great for us to be able to test what we do have, what we need to be prepared for when we really start our conference play this weekend with LMU.
When you look at the potential of this group and the makeup of your team, what kinds of technical things do you see this team being able to do well? It is a much shorter season than you're used to seeing, but when you hit your stride and when you get good stretches of play, what's that going to look like from Broncos soccer?
Well, I think we're going to stay really organized defensively. I think that's something that you can really control in a match. Our ability to concentrate, our ability to compete over the 90 minutes, those are some of the things that we're challenging our group with. I think we did a good job with the St. Mary's game for about 60 minutes of it, and then seemed to run out of gas. We're a little bit limited on numbers right now with not everybody back. And, so that puts a little bit more stress on the players that are on there to go a little longer than maybe they're quite ready. And, but as we go forward, and are looking at this group, I think we're just excited that we're going to be able to I think stay organized defensively, but I think we're looking at a little more exciting brand of being able to not only build the game when the other team does the same, when they sit back and are really compact, but we're also thinking, we're going to be able to do a better job of breaking out and running at teams. And so that part of it, I think we're really excited about.
You've got 3 guys coming back off of all WCC seasons. Two of them are veterans and captains in your group, Emil Christensen and Javi Ruiz. What do they do from a leadership standpoint to set the tone for your team?
Well, they've both been here for a number of years. Emil a little less than Javi, but Javi's is our guy that when we get him around the box, he's the guy that we're counting on to score, and he's been our leading goal scorer for the last couple of years. So super happy to have him back. We're intentionally trying to get him in and around the box as much as we can, which means we need to get him forward and take some of the overall defending responsibilities off him so he can do the good attacking stuff that he does. So he leads that attack and that creativeness. Emil is the general in the back, right? He makes sure that we stay organized, gives us a good fighting spirit in our group, keeps us focused on the tasks that we need, and then is able to hopefully solve some problems that arise during the game that we need dealt with on the field, from the field. So both of them do a great job, and so we're looking forward to having them both back and impactful for us.
So those are two of your leaders in terms of your outfield players. You've got two proven and really good goalkeepers on your roster. Guillem Badenez-Mecho put together a great debut season last year, and Andreu Casas-Mundet coming over from Wake Forest, a top goalkeeper from one of the top programs in the country. So tell me about how you plan to handle the goalkeeping situation with those two early in the year.
Well, it's a blessing when you get two really good goalkeepers in the group. Both are very good with their feet. Both of them have just some great presence and ability to handle difficult situations. So we're pleased. It was maybe not as great a first go as we'd like for the goalkeepers in the back, but overall, I think we feel very confident in them. They are going to bring a maturity to our group that we really need, and then also allow us to do some things in the back that maybe we haven't been able to do or haven't been doing in the past quite as much, because both of them are just tremendous soccer players. So, how we'll handle it, we're going to let these two fight it out and see who really plays really well and is in good form. We have confidence in both, so we'll look forward to watching that evolve.
So we've talked captains, we've talked goalkeepers. Let's switch it over to the newcomers. Now, Bronco fans know they can expect to see your Emils and your Javis of the Santa Clara soccer world. Which of the newcomers this season do you see having an impact, and should those watching keep an eye out for early in the year?
Yeah, we have quite a few new guys coming in that are, I think, going to be impactful for us. Let me start with Juan O'Neill. Juan is a transfer to us who has played overseas a little bit, but come back into the college game. And he's somebody that I think is just got a great work ethic, but just a great competitive nature on the field. And we're depending on that maturity of having played at some better levels and better meaning international levels, I guess, where, the game is taught a little different and it's very tactical. So it's maybe a little more evolved is maybe the best way to say it. He's going to be a guy that we're going to depend on. Nicholas Cudini, who comes to us from a very successful transfer program, but also from Italy, I think will be somebody that will be impactful for us. We've already talked about Andreu. He's a transfer that has come in and will compete right away. As we're talking some of the younger guys, we have Caden Buckley, who comes to us from the Las Vegas, Nevada, is just tremendously athletic and super competitive. I mean, there's not a moment on the time that he's on the field that he's not trying to win a ball or make a play or impact our team. So we're really excited about, what his potentials will be and how to use him best. Liam Johnson, comes to us from just a local prep school in Sacred Heart. And he's got some really great abilities in and around the goal. And when we watched him and kind of come through the youth ranks, we thought maybe a little bit more on the defensive side. But when you see him strike a ball, when you see him get around the goal, and he had a tremendous season for Sacred Heart in reaching the CCS final. And he was the reason why, because he got the ball and he scored goals. And what coach doesn't want that on their team? We have Cole Mutoka, who is out of Hawaii, but went to the IMG academies to really further his game. Really happy to have him. He's pacey. He loves to go at guys. He handles the ball well. So he's going to be impactful, which I will just look forward to. Dylan Bartlett comes to us from Southern California and Beach FC. And, that program was really successful and turned out a lot of very good players. He's one of them that's going to be able to create, and again, another kind of natural goal scorer as he matures. So I think those are the some of the big ones. And then the one that I haven't mentioned, but is going to be, I think, maybe even the most impactful is Oladayo Thomas. Dio comes to us from a D2 school back east, and wow. And in the first game, you can see his strength, you can see his power, you can see his impact for us, in the game. And, just thrilled to have him running up top and battling, as much as he's able to. Those are a number of the guys. There's a couple more that are, that are new, that hopefully will continue to emerge and grow. I'm enjoying the group tremendously. A lot of it's their mentality. A lot of it's their attitude. A lot of it's just purely their commitment to be able to get through this last year and still be very positive about kind of what they want to accomplish and what we want to do in this program, and be, tight through and through with each other on it. So I couldn't be happier with kind of going into this in the spring season, even if it is limited in number of games.
I want to take it out to a little bit of a bigger picture question. A lot of the guys that you mentioned there come to the United States as international players, and that's a trend across the U.S. college game. It's becoming increasingly global. Just on your roster, reflecting that: Denmark, England, Italy, Nigeria, Puerto Rico, Spain. What kind of changes have you seen in recent years that, makes the international influence more commonplace across the rosters of a lot of different programs?
I think, international players in the World Wide Web and just the connectivity of the game and how it's grown and how we can scout players on some of these services where we can see video and then be in contact with people that grow our network. It's just providing more opportunity for them to marry both academics and athletics, which is not as easy to do overseas. There's not really a system, maybe except for Japan, that we know of, that has the development of their collegiate programs and their athletic programs for soccer and any other sport as integrated as we do here in the US. So I think a lot of the international students are really seeing the value of why you would come play in the US and are looking for opportunity to continue to study, but come to the US for an experience, but also bring some of the talent and trade that they have developed overseas into programs. And I think what you're seeing, and even for us, a number of them that have chosen places that seem to fit initially, and then as they rise in talent and their ability to affect the game, they want a bigger challenge. And so they're continuing to look to maybe go on to better programs. And that's where we've picked up a number of guys that we feel really have some great potential to grow even more than where they are. Oladayo Thomas is just one of them, right? I mean, he was very good where he played and at a really good school. Take nothing away from them, but was looking to say, hey, listen, what more can I even accomplish and want to? And the trend is continuing.
Well, you've got at least one student athlete on your roster. It's safe to say you know him pretty well. Your son, Cam Rast, is on the team this season. So how has that been so far, coaching a group of guys, and one of them's your son?
Yeah, I'm thrilled to have Tim in the program. He's he's a really good soccer player, and for him to work as hard as he had to get here, both academically and athletically, it's great to see him every day. It's great to see him, watch him develop, and as all of our players, he's got some areas to grow, but he's working his butt off to do it. He's a great teammate. And I think gives us some real depth in some areas that we needed. So, that's great. But I kind of look at most of the players as kind of young men that I get to work with and maybe help mold a little bit. And so, Tim just happens to be my son, but I look at this whole freshman class and just thrilled with the quality of not just the player, but the person that each of them are and are growing into. And so it's super fun. And now I hear a little more on the story side, which is a thrill, that the freshman group, were limited in what they could do this last fall. But a real quick, funny story is they decided they're going to go out and get a fish tank, and all of them got a fish. And they all named their fish, and they wanted to see how long they could make that last. Well, all the fish are no longer with us, I'm sorry to say. But just fun stories of what you go through in college and shared experience and things that you do that, are great lifelong memories. And they're starting that even during a really tough pandemic time.
All right, last one for you. For those of you watching, you can see the dueling sunsets that we have going on. By the way, this was not planned. We just both happened to show up at the Zoom interview with him. So we've got, looks like training grounds in the back, and then we've got press box view behind me from Stevens Stadium. Try to be objective, but which one do you like better?
I love Stevens Stadium and Buckshaw Field. I mean, that's where the work gets really done. But, I can't argue with the quality of my sunset in my picture. I walked upon it one night when I was coming into the school, and it was just so brilliant. I call my background the field of dreams, because it's a dream to have the game field, but for sure our practice field and our Stevens Soccer Training Center, and we're super grateful to the Stevens family for providing that for us. So that's why I chose mine. Is I think mine's the field of dreams, but I sure love yours too.
Can't go wrong. We get a lot of good ones. Here at SCU. Head coach of Broncos soccer, Cam Rast. Coach, thanks so much for your time. Looking forward to seeing the team in action coming up this weekend against LMU.
Yeah, thanks, David.